Veteran who made international headlines for his pioneering missions as an astronaut and for being the husband of former Congresswoman and American icon Gabby Giffords, who was almost killed during her time in office. Now Mark is stepping into politics, looking to fill my father's old Senate seat, and he's joining us here at the table to tell us why. Please welcome Captain Mark Kelly. Woo! Thank you. I'm so happy you came on.
Great to be here, Megan.
Yes, we actually talked on the phone and you told me when you were announcing you were running for Senate, and I thought it was so classy and completely unneeded, but I really appreciate the gesture. But I think a lot of people know your wife as well, because she's obviously a famous congresswoman from Arizona. Why did you decide to jump into politics and follow in her footsteps?
Well, first, let me say, you know, like your dad, I flew off of an aircraft carrier as well, and as a young pilot, I really looked up to him a lot. And, you know, when we were, you know, in SEER school, you know, which is where they teach you how to be a, you know, if you wind up being a POW, you know, he was like the model of how you honorably go through an impossible situation. So, you know, it's not often we get to meet our heroes, and it's even less uncommon that you get to call them a friend someday, and I got to do that. You know, so that's why I felt, you know, strong need to reach out. You know, elections are important. I mean, they really are. And, you know, if I've seen the, you know, the direction of our country over the last several years, you know, I think I have something to offer. You know, I'm somebody who cares about independence and about science and data and facts. And, you know, I don't always see that from Washington, D.C. And we have some serious issues that we're facing in the state of Arizona. And, you know, they're not often being addressed. And, you know, politics have become so divisive. And, you know, I hope to be, you know, not influenced by any corporation or political party. And I think this is an important time for our country.
Captain, your family's been through a lot. How's Gabby doing?
Gabby's doing great. You know, she obviously has been through a lot. I mean, she nearly died that day and had to fight back, you know, just to survive and through rehab. She's in a great mood. You know, she does a lot of things. She rides her bike. Every year she does this bike ride called the Tour de Tucson. And she'll do either 25 or 40 miles. She has to prepare for it ahead of time. She's going to a new gym, and she works really hard.
And just to remind people, she was shot at a political event. You're stepping now into her line of work, and as you see on the show every day, the times are tense politically. Does it give you pause to step into that line of work after what she's been through?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's, you know, you always got to evaluate the risk and the reward. And it's not the reward for me personally. It's like, what does this mean to the country? Can I make a difference? I've done risky things in the past. You know, I flew in combat over Iraq and Kuwait doing Operation Desert Storm. I flew the space shuttle 4 times. I mean, I understand there's risk. You know, it did turn out, though, that my wife, Gabby Giffords, is the one who had the risky job. So we get that. And Gabby's, you know, 100% behind me doing this because it is important.
So, you know, one of the reasons that I'm glad you're doing this is because as an astronaut, I can ask you about climate change. Because I assume that you've seen, you know, up there at the moon and up in the sky, and you're looking down and seeing stuff. And do you remember seeing the changes that the planet was going through and how fast it was happening? What did you see?
Right, so, you know, first, when you get into space on your first flight, a couple hours later, you get out of your seat, you get to look down, you know, at planet Earth for the first time. Big, round, let me say that again, round ball. You know, just floating there. You know, 7.5 billion of us, we live on an island in our solar system. Make no mistake, you know, we've got no place else to go. And between my first flight and my 4th one, it was a decade, a sliver in time. And I saw some changes in this planet, specifically with like deforestation, especially over the Amazon, but other rainforests. And that's a lot of carbon that comes up into, you know, that's been released into our atmosphere, and it's going to heat up the planet. You know, we've got to figure out a way to get from fossil fuels to more renewable energy. And I think we've got a decade or so to figure this out, but we can't continue to wait.
Wow, so 10 years.